Hi, I'm Joe Walensky, and I'm the principal of Walensky and Associates. And I get to do a lot of fun events. Writers UA West is coming up at the end of March in Denver in cooperation with the Department of Journalism and Technical Communication at Metropolitan State University. And today I'm talking with Kris Davis. How are you doing, Kris?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks.
Yeah, it's good to have you involved in this event. And I'm in Seattle. Where are you talking to us from?
So I'm from Denver, Colorado.
All right. So you're not going to have to go far to get over to MSU. But why don't we start by you talking a little bit about your background and the things that you're doing today?
Yeah. So my background is really in user experience design. And a lot of what I work on these days is helping large enterprise companies understand their users and be able to deliver software or products or services to those users, whether they're actual customers or internal.
So what are some of the things that I know you have a lot of different clients, a lot of different types of projects, but what are some of the things that you'll do in a given day for a project?
So it depends. Primarily, I work directly with the clients, work directly with the users, and do a lot of prototyping and talking a little bit about solutions and how to overcome problems through design. So.
Now, one of the things that the people who attend this event are involved in is developing helpful information in whatever format that might be for software products. I know that that certainly is part of what goes on in the broader umbrella of user experience. How does that manifest itself in the projects that you work on in terms of the way that different types of helpful content is brought into the experience?
Yeah, so I think that, when we talk about meaningful pieces of software, I think content is a huge piece of that in terms of being able to accurately and succinctly communicate what we want people to do and how we want them to do it. And so, I think that that's a critical piece to any useful piece of software. So I work a lot with content people, and we might take some of the insights from the user testing or usability sessions and really talk through pieces or problems that the users are having. And that might be they might not understand something, or maybe we're framing things wrong. And so a lot of the help that we get from content folks is really making sure that we're framing stuff in the right way.
Well, are there any things that you've been playing around with that have captured your interest? Any new techniques or thoughts or ideas?
Yeah, so something that I do think a lot about is how we can articulate the jobs of creative people in a stronger way that allows us to better develop ourselves. I think people who are in new creative careers lack a strong career path or understanding of what we need to do to make ourselves better within our careers. And I think content and design are kind of in that same boat. So I spend a lot of my time coming up with ways to maybe address that problem.
And so have you come up with any good solutions for that?
Yeah, I'm working on one. So.
Right. Good. Well, one of the things that I've been involved in technical communication for most of my career. Just the idea of being able to take information and make it accessible to be able to help people. But unfortunately, a lot of that kind of information tends to, lose its creativity, at some point. And so I'm always, I'm always trying to make remind myself that it's up to me to make something engaging for somebody to be able to have a connection to it. So if somebody doesn't read it or view it, ultimately it's my fault for not making it relevant and interesting enough in the way that I present it.
Yeah, well, I think saying it's your fault is that I think there's only so much you can control regarding that. But I definitely think that, pairing up content with user research is the best way to make sure that your message resonates with the actual people who are going to be using those applications, and getting the voice and tone right, and getting the length of content right, and then paired with the design side of things to make sure that it is accessible, that people can read it, and all of that good stuff. So,
well, let's talk a little bit about the session that you're going to do at the conference. And so the title is Design Changes Within the Enterprise. So talk a little bit about how you came around to this topic.
Yeah, so my topic is fundamentally based around the idea that creative people in creative professions do a lot of things for their products, or do a lot of things for their clients, that build a skill set that can make them strong leaders within larger organizations. And so that's kind of the premise of it. And then there's also an aspect of it, which is, I think that there's a lot of things that creative people can do to get in their own way, from becoming a leader within their organization, or making changes that they would like to make changed to better solve problems or make people happier in their jobs. And so that's kind of the premise of it.
And have there been any particular challenges that you've encountered that have in your work that have brought you around to wanting to develop this topic?
Yeah. So basically the way that I think about my work is I have on one side my project stuff, and then on my other side I have the work that I do to try to better the organizations that I'm actually working with. And it's that second side of the things that inspired this talk. Because when you're working with a large organization and you want to try to change something that seems easy, you'll quickly find that there's a lot of people who have to get involved to protect the company. And then you have legal folks and risk folks and talent folks if you're changing process, and other business groups and historical issues around things. And so, I'm very passionate about making the companies that I work with better, and hitting constant challenges, and doing some things the right way and doing some things the wrong way has really taught me how to approach this problem. And so, I have a lot of experience with this stuff.
Well, that's good. I think this is a really important area, because as organizations scale larger, like you mentioned, there's so many moving parts, and suddenly it can just take so much time to be able to get an initiative done, to maintain the momentum, to make sure all the stakeholders are involved, to be able to have a successful result. And there must be so many more projects that have fallen to the wayside than make it to a successful conclusion.
Yeah, it's hard. It's harder than you think it is, and it takes longer than you think it will. And it's just a complete roller coaster ride. So I think a lot of people, when they are working in a small company and they want to change something simple, they talk to their manager, and the manager says, awesome, go do that. And then it's done. But I think that when people migrate from smaller companies to larger companies, they might think that things are that simple, and might get frustrated because they thought it should be that simple. And when it's not, they get angry and they get upset. And so hopefully some of this can set some of that stage, so that if people do get into positions in larger companies where they do want to make some changes, they kind of know what they're getting into before they start.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me for a few minutes today, and
Yeah,
look
absolutely.
forward to working with you at the end of this month in Denver.
Yeah, excited about it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kris. Bye-bye.
Cool. Thanks, Joe. Bye.